Imagine getting arrested for chewing gum, walking a camel through your city, or even forgetting your mother-in-law's birthday. Sounds insane, right? Well, these aren't just urban legends. They're real laws, enforced somewhere on this planet. By the end of this video, you'll question if the world has completely lost it, and maybe start looking at your daily habits in a whole new way. Today, we're diving into the weirdest, strangest, and most bizarre laws that actually exist across the globe. These are rules that will make you laugh, make you scratch your head, and make you double-check the calendar to see if you've accidentally stepped into an alternate universe. From chewing gum bans to zombie-related regulations, these 10 laws will shock you, confuse you, and maybe even make you grateful for where you live. So, let's jump right in and see just how strange the world can get. Laws are supposed to keep society safe, organized, and fair. But sometimes governments take things way too far, or invent rules that seem totally pointless. And the weird part is, these laws aren't just suggestions. In some places, breaking them can get you fined, jailed, or worse. How do they even enforce some of these rules? How does someone even get caught chewing gum in Singapore? Or walking a camel in Saudi Arabia? That's exactly what we're about to explore. 1. Chewing gum ban in Singapore. Singapore is famous for its cleanliness, and the laws here reflect that obsession. In 1992, the government banned the sale of chewing gum. The reason? People were sticking gum on subway doors, which caused havoc with the public transport system. Can you imagine being in a crowded MRT and suddenly the doors wouldn't close because of gum stuck there? Yeah, it got serious enough for the government to act. Breaking this law can get you fined hundreds of dollars. And it's not just a small slap on the wrist. Singapore takes this very seriously. The only exception is medical gum, like nicotine gum for quitting smoking, or dental gum prescribed by a dentist. Regular candy gum? Off limits. Here's the thing. When you travel, you might think, oh, it's just a little gum. But in Singapore, that little gum is a legal hazard. Tourists have been fined for this, sometimes without even realizing it. It's not just about chewing gum. It's about maintaining public order and cleanliness. But the extreme measure makes this law one of the most famous bizarre laws in the world. Fun fact: some people have even tried sneaking gum into Singapore hidden in packages, only to get caught at the airport. Imagine explaining to customs, "It's just gum." Yeah, not gonna work. 2. No camels on the streets in Saudi Arabia. Yes, you heard that right. In certain parts of Saudi Arabia, it's illegal to ride camels on urban streets. This law exists mainly to prevent traffic accidents, because, surprisingly, camels are very big and slow-moving vehicles in a world of cars. Picture this. You're driving downtown, and suddenly, a camel appears, casually strolling across the street. Chaos, right? That's what the law is trying to prevent. Violating it could result in fines or warnings, especially in cities with heavy traffic. Now, you might be thinking, who rides camels in cities anyway? Well, in some rural or tourist-heavy areas, camels are still used for transport or festivals. But when they stray into busy streets, authorities have to step in. Fun fact: some tourists have tried taking photos on camels in these areas and accidentally broke local traffic laws. It's a strange combination of cultural tradition and modern safety rules. 3. No high heels at ancient sites in Greece. Greece takes preservation seriously. To protect ancient monuments, high heels are banned at sites like the Acropolis. Sharp heels can damage the stone floors that have stood for thousands of years, so even fashion can't trump history here. Imagine tourists sneaking in their favorite stilettos to get that perfect Instagram shot. Guards have to remind people repeatedly, sometimes even asking them to remove their shoes or put on protective coverings. It's a law that makes sense when you hear it, but still, it's bizarre. Protecting history is important, but it's also a little funny to think that your choice of shoes could get you in trouble at a world-famous site. Fun fact, some tour companies now give visitors flat, soft-soled shoes to wear inside the Acropolis. That's how seriously they take this law. 4. Killing Bigfoot in British Columbia. This one sounds like a joke, but it's true. In British Columbia, Canada, Bigfoot is technically protected under law. While many people think Bigfoot is just a legend, the government created legislation to prevent hunting or harming it, just in case it exists. Picture wandering in the woods and someone yells, "Stop!" That's a protected creature. It's both hilarious and bizarre. The law is symbolic, but it reflects the province's effort to preserve folklore and prevent people from doing something dangerous in pursuit of myths. People have taken this seriously enough that it's entered legal documents as a fun but real rule. Fun fact, the law inspired documentaries and tourism campaigns in British Columbia, making Bigfoot sightings a quirky attraction. 5. No dancing after midnight in Sweden. In Sweden, some municipalities historically banned dancing after midnight unless you had a special permit. Why? Concerns about noise and public safety. Imagine thinking you could just hit a club and dance the night away, only to realize you're technically breaking the law. This law might sound strict, but it was mostly about maintaining public order in small towns. Over time, the law has relaxed, but permits are still required in some places. Fun fact, some festivals in Sweden still need official permission for late-night dancing. So, technically, your wild dance moves could get checked by a municipal officer. 6. No flushing the toilet after 10 p.m. in Switzerland. Switzerland is precise in everything, including bathroom habits. In some apartment buildings, it's illegal to flush your toilet late at night. The law exists to prevent disturbing neighbors during quiet hours, which typically run from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Imagine brushing your teeth at 11 p.m. and needing to use the bathroom, only to realize you're technically committing a crime. Most residents follow this law strictly, as Swiss apartments often have thin walls, making every sound very noticeable. Fun fact, this law isn't about punishing people harshly. It's mostly enforced socially, with fines or complaints if repeated violations occur. 7. Feeding pigeons in Venice. Venice is gorgeous, but they take pigeon control very seriously. Feeding pigeons in public spaces, like St. Mark's Square, can get you fined hundreds of dollars. Why? Pigeon droppings damage historic buildings over time. Picture tourists tossing breadcrumbs while snapping photos and suddenly realizing that act of kindness comes with a hefty fine. Fun fact, Venice has installed signs everywhere warning about pigeon feeding laws, and the city even encourages feeding birds in specific safe zones to protect monuments. 8. Wearing a mask in public in France. France passed an anti-mask law in 2010 that prohibits wearing masks or disguises in public. The law aims to prevent criminal activity and protect public safety. This also applies during festivals, protests, or street performances if authorities haven't approved the masks. So, your Halloween or carnival mask could technically get you in trouble. Fun fact, the law sparked debates in France about freedom of expression versus public safety, making it both controversial and bizarre. 9. No Winnie the Pooh in Polish schools. In 2014, a school in Poland banned Winnie the Pooh in classrooms because the character was considered inappropriate for children. While not a nationwide law, it's a real restriction at the local level. Imagine telling kids they can't have their favorite stuffed bear because it's inappropriate. It sounds absurd, but schools sometimes enact quirky rules to control classroom behavior. Fun fact: the ban made international news and became a viral topic online, sparking debates about overprotective education. 10. Don't die without permission in Japan. Perhaps the strangest law of them all comes from Nagoro, Japan. Historically, residents needed permission to die within the town limits. The law was meant to manage population and local resources, though today it's mostly symbolic. Still, it's insane to think there's a place where dying without approval could be illegal. Fun fact: Nagoro is also known for its Scarecrow Village, where life-size dolls represent deceased residents, making this law even eerier in context. Of all these laws, the Don't Die Without Permission rule is the most mind-boggling. It's not just funny, it's a mix of absurdity and human control. Some laws, like chewing gum bans, make sense in context. Others, like Bigfoot protection or dying with permission, make you realize the world is far stranger than you imagined. Laws can protect society, but some push boundaries into the realm of pure weirdness. They make you laugh, make you think, and sometimes make you grateful for your own city's normal rules. So there you have it. 10 of the weirdest, most shocking laws from around the world. Chewing gum in Singapore, camels on streets, high heels in Greece, Bigfoot in Canada, dancing in Sweden, toilets in Switzerland, feeding pigeons in Venice, masks in France, Winnie the Pooh in Poland, and dying in Japan. All real, all bizarre, all fascinating. These laws show how diverse, creative, and sometimes downright crazy governments can be. They make us laugh, shake our heads, and think about how we follow rules without questioning them. Next time you travel, pay attention. You might step into a city where the rules seem to have been written by someone who just woke up and thought, yes, this should be illegal. Subscribe Freaky Laws for more unbelievable laws from around the world. And if you like it, leave a like and a comment below.